Am I? I don't know. Are you?
I don't know.
You better know.
Well, if it lags again, I'll go and get my wide connection sorted. I'm currently using I've gone into 5 hertz Wi-Fi, so it should be alright.
No, there's not 2 people watching, but one of them is me.
It's the gold standard. It's there's always at least 2 watching because we're always live like that.
There was a few comments in last week's show, but you guys just plowing through talking about Resident Evil trailers for an hour.
Well, I can't look at the comments because of the way OBS sets up. It takes my desktop audio, so then all of a sudden you guys would be hearing double audio if I have the stream up. So I'm not in charge of comments.
Can you not have the comments on your phone?
We need someone in charge of comments.
Well, I've got it up now. So shut up and let's do the intro. Back once again like a renegade master, beatbox damager, power to the people. We are Pixel Pints, hello. We are the only global podcast that talks about 2 things that we enjoy, which is good beer and video games. We're not here to promote drinking. Please drink responsibly. Please game responsibly and treat other people with kindness and respect. So there. Obviously, if you don't, there's consequences and ramifications. Not from me, because I'm not in a position of power to do anything about that. But you just watch out. If you shit on people on your way up, you never know who you might meet on the way down.
It's a good saying.
Good word.
It's a good saying. I like it.
Yes. Right. So, I am back. I have thoughts about last week's episode, but
of course you do.
How you guys can do an entire episode of talking about video game marketing? Well, it wasn't an entire episode; it was about an hour, without mentioning the price increase from $60 to $70, pre-orders, and the fact that announcing that your game doesn't have microtransactions or loot boxes is meant to be applauded. I have got absolutely no idea.
Counteraction to yours. Game pricing, totally different topic. That's a way deeper topic than something else. The second one was pre-orders. That has nothing to do with game marketing.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely
does.
They don't pre-order the campaign for your marketing. Like the marketing is to make you. The marketing is meant to sell the pre-orders. So like that, we're just trying to say.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
But again,
hold on. You can't disassociate the two.
Hold on. But I'm saying we're talking about the marketing campaigns and how they get you to buy their games, which also means pre-order their games. So that's like we were talking about that. That's a totally different topic you're talking about.
It's not. It's part and parcel because you can't have one without the other.
Nope.
Well, you can, but people choose to include the pre-orders in the marketing.
I'll be honest. I thought it was just about what made you excited to want to buy the game. So
well, that's totally different. That's about how do you build hype. That's not about marketing. Marketing to me is about sales, and you can't have a discussion about marketing without talking about price and how people can actually buy the thing.
Keith, I think probably if I jumped on at the end, if that had been the key point, I would have.
I know you jumped on at the end, Dan, because I watched the show.
Oh, that's good. I would have been very angry about. I'm already angry, still angry about pricing. So it's probably good that we didn't bring it up. Well, Liam, I'm still holding Liam to account over that. I'll hold him forever in that price.
It's all Liam's fault, right? That's my thoughts on last week. Evan, how's things in Japan?
That's all right. Just started raining, of course, because it always has to rain at least for a couple hours a day, every day. But yeah, everything's all right.
Good. Dan, how's things?
Yeah, good. Just enjoying.
That's nice and succinct. Mitch, how's things in LA?
They're okay. I'm gonna forewarn people, if my eyes look funny, I apologize. I've been getting over some pink eye and a respiratory illness that isn't COVID for the last 14
Okay,
days.
you probably didn't have to say that, but well done for sharing.
But anyways, and the final thing is, I did beat Psychonauts 2 just 2 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
Did you get the platinum trophy?
No,
you can't because it's on Xbox and they don't have trophies.
Do you want my short review?
Why
Yeah,
you
what was
play
it? What was your?
Yeah, go for it.
Psychonauts 2. If out of a legitimate 10-point scale, like not the 7 to 10 that people use nowadays, I would give it about a 5.5. It's just above average. The combat's really basic, and it really doesn't have much nuance to it, even when you get deeper and get more tools. The platforming is basic. There is a lot of creativity with the different levels you go into, but my main gripe with the entire game is, one, it's too long, and two, well, I guess they're combined. It's one, it's too long that it drags, especially at the end, and two, the story, you go a lot of places, but it feels like you don't go anywhere. Because you're going inside people's brains constantly, and that's the whole thing about Psychonauts, going into somebody's mind and like trying to help form thoughts and like fix thoughts and rehabilitate, all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, you go into so many brains that the things that happen outside, like outside of people doing stuff in people's brains, the plot around that stuff is so minute that it feels so unsatisfying when you're completing these tasks, because what you're making them do is something so tiny as, I need access to a mailroom, so I'm going to go in this guy's brain and give him another brain. And it's like a whole like 20-minute level just to do that, just to get in the mailroom, that I feel like the overall plot, I almost felt like it did nothing, which is unfortunate, because I think as like a super spy mind type game, I think there's so much more you could do, and I felt like it just like underperformed in that aspect.
So all in all, hard skip. Perfect.
No, I would say if you like... No. Sorry. Long story short, if you really like 3D platformers, it's still a good 3D platformer that offers some unique things, but don't expect this to be like game of the year contender. Like, seeing some of these places give them 9s on this game, I just cannot believe it in any capacity.
People love Double Fine. They love Double Fine, so...
If they give this game a 9 and they give Ratchet and Clank a 7 or an 8, I don't know what the heck you're looking at, bro, because those are two different.
That's just your obvious Sony bias kicking in, which was actually mentioned in a comment on the last show. So I watched it back on Twitch, and I saw right at the end someone said, I can't remember.
I mean, what did they say? I didn't even catch it.
They said, "Do you guys ever talk about or know anything about Xbox?"
Oh yeah, no. Matt made a comment regarding that.
Yeah, of course we do. They just don't do good marketing campaigns. And to be honest, we talked about Capcom for most of the time. Let's be honest here. It wasn't even PlayStation.
Just to make the point that we do talk about Xbox. When Mitch talks about Xbox, it's how he wants Phil Spencer to get the sack. So,
I mean,
we do talk about it.
He got a game on Game Pass, and I'm still subscribed. So he did his job. It was 5 years too late, but better late than never, Phil.
Well done, Phil. We love you.
Well, Phil.
Right, shall we move on? Does anyone have any beers or beverages they want to talk about?
I do. Wow, that came out really funky. I'm sorry. I just really happy.
That sounded fine to me.
I have this huge can that like I could literally. So this is a Golden Road Brewery. It's a mango cart. It's a mango wheat ale. I just saw how big this thing. Look at this guy. Look at it. He's so. This literally reminds. If you've never been to LA, these carts are everywhere. Except they don't just sell mangoes, but they just sell fruit. There's just like these carts, and they just sell fruit, just like this. Umbrellas. There's a guy hanging there. He's chopping up the fruit, and it's literally in a container like this where you could see the fruit on the inside and there's ice on the inside. So if you've never been to LA, that's something you'll see constantly, is fresh fruit carts all over the place. That and hot dogs. They especially on Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's what they do a lot.
Does anyone talk about combining the two?
Hot dog fruit.
What do you mean?
A nice hot dog,
A hot
mango,
dog-
Mango,
hot
mango,
coffee
hot
ale.
dog, mango chili salsa on your hot dog.
Oh,
here-
that'd be good.
oh, here you go.
That'd be delicious.
Here you go. It says a series inspired by the iconic fruit cart vendors of Los Angeles. So I was right. That does remind me of LA because it is inspired by LA. I'm trying to find stuff on here.
Have you drank it yet? Because I really just want to know what the flavor's like.
Nope, never tried it yet. It's a 4% alcohol volume.
Okay, so
Right.
All right. Let's,
So,
do I
right,
do I pour it in
Evan-
front of my keyboard, in front of my 3
yeah,
monitor
Evan,
set?
Dan, bets on what Mitch pours his beer over.
Keyboard.
Ooh.
I thought it was gonna.
Yeah,
I
think
after
it's,
like doing this with it, I thought it was gonna open it. It was gonna go all over his keyboard. It didn't do that.
All right, judging by the angle, I think a couple
Yeah.
drops are going to get in between the G and the H keys, maybe. F,
My
G,
keyboard
H,
is way
about the,
up
about the
there,
middle of
guys.
the keyboard.
It's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
My keyboard's way up there. Oh shit!
Okay, don't
Well, that's
shake.
pale.
All right, table.
It went
Keep
right.
that steady,
It
steady
went,
hand.
It went right on my leg.
Damn it! I should have bet on the leg. All right,
Ooh.
next time.
That's more pale than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, a lot more pale.
Yeah, that went
Yeah.
down. That went down my leg a little bit. Ooh.
Okay, you can smell like beer for the rest of the evening.
Oh yeah, it does smell fruity. Holy cow, that's a strong mango. Whew.
Go then. Put it in your mouth and try it.
This isn't the opening from last week.
This is I was gonna say this is not the pornography discussion from last week, Dan.
Ooh.
We talked about Romeo and Juliet, remember?
Oh, we did. That was on the stream.
And then you talked about the teacher.
Okay, we don't
Oh,
need to,
that's right.
we
That's
don't
my
need to
fault.
revisit it.
I'm sorry.
Whoa, holy cow. That is all mango.
What the AB?
That is
I hope
just
you like mango.
that is just I'm shocked. It's got the weed aftertaste at the end, which actually kind of works. It's kind of nice to have the fruit in the front, the sweetness, and then have the bitter in the back. That's actually really good. I just didn't expect all the fruit to just come at you like a punch. Yeah, I really actually like this. Oh, I might have to go to the store again and see if they have a different one of, because they said it's a series. So I wonder if there's other, like, do they have pineapple cart? I don't know, but it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I only got
do
one.
like the
I wish I had
pineapple
two.
beers.
I don't know. I'd give it a go.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Keith, I think you would like it.
I'm quite into the fruity beers at the moment, so yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I think
Right, Evan.
it's not too overpowering with the fruit. It's just perfect. I think it's a great balance.
All right. I picked up Heretic. You can't handle the juice.
Nice.
It's a New England style double India Pale Ale, 8.5%. They say never filtered, never pasteurized, and this is from
Okay.
Fairfield, California.
Did you say 8.5%?
Yeah,
What
8.5%.
size?
Jesus. How size?
This is
Rough day there, chap. huh?
473.
473
was gonna be a
milliliters.
five.
That's a hell of a lot.
That's a hell of a lot of
Yeah, that's a lot.
8.5% of beer.
Do you have a really
Have you
bad
drank
week at
that
school?
Right? So it's currently 4:37 p.m. in Japan. This is my first beer, so it's not like I was playing video games all day.
You're on
and-
your road.
Evan,
Here, what you like at like 10 p.m.
here I want to be the bartender that like puts the lighter in front of you, going, "Had a rough day."
Right. Can I handle the juice? I don't know. I will say one thing. I'm really sick of companies and their really buddy over familiar language that they're putting on some of their products, or like if you get like a 404 screen pop up on online, it's like, whoopsies, I think we did a no, sorry. Like just say like something, something bad happened.
Be found.
Yeah, page error. Yeah, error 404.
Script error,
So it
isn't it?
says,
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Okay.
Just say it plainly, right? It says, we know you're tough. We get it. You can handle yourself. you do what most ordinary people don't do, and it goes on and on and on. It's like, please just stop. I'm so sick of this stuff, and beer cans do that a lot lately.
Well,
They
clearly
also
you
have
can't
really,
handle
really
the
dumb
juice,
names
Evan,
like
because
this.
that's the language.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a New England style double India Pale Ale, and
Wow, that's
the
hazy.
the other name for the actual name is New England style, but most people refer to it this style as a hazy IPA. So yeah, it is. I mean, it's opaque. I would say it's a
There's
dark.
a lot of haze in
It's
there.
a dark gold. Yeah, so it's a dark gold. It actually had a really nice head retention. It's dissipated since, but I've been sipping this for a while. Yeah, you get that huge bite of aroma-wise in the very tropical. I don't know if Keith would like this per se. Mango, of course. Maybe not as many mangoes as the beer that Mitch is drinking, but true to the name of a New England IPA, yeah. It's unfiltered. You can see a lot of the yeast at the bottom here, and yeah, it's like really, really aromatic. Like this is a hazy IPA for sure. It's really, really tropical, and decent carbonation. It's a little creamy, and usually in a New England IPA, that creaminess comes from oats or wheat, which they'll sometimes put in. I don't know if they have. It doesn't say on the side, so maybe they haven't. But yeah, this is a dangerous beer. It's a proper session beer. I could probably take down maybe about 14 of these bad boys before the night's over. I'm just kidding. It's heavy, but
drink
it's
responsibly.
really, really flavorful. In terms of balance, you know how sometimes you drink a beer, it tastes like an 8.5%, or it tastes like a 4% beer, or a 6 or a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not because it has like a kind of like tinny, like alcohol-ish flavor to it, which is usually a sign of a bad beer, a bad batch of beer. But
I've got two 8.5% beers in the fridge, and they're saved for kind of, I know I can drink this when.
Yeah.
Not just chugging it down.
At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I love it.
Yeah,
I love you, Evan.
It's 4:41. I got nothing to do. It's Saturday. I'm staying in for the rest of the night.
It's 5 o'clock
But yeah,
somewhere.
this is
You can't vacuum anymore.
it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, there's a box over here with a vacuum folded in half.
He's got
But
Bravely
no, this,
Default 2 to play.
Yeah, that is a very, very aromatic tropical beer, but it does have that bite, and it does, when I'm referring to that, what does it taste like? It does taste like yeah, you need to slowly drink this because it definitely is higher in alcohol content, but in a good way. Like, this is a really flavorful beer that you would want to sip.
I definitely think you picked the right glass, Evan. Because this is in the high alcohols, they generally put them in, obviously, the goblet, but like a wine style glass, because you feel like you need to sip it. Otherwise, you end up bad for you.
Yeah. A lot of beers would probably be in like a stemmed tulip pint like this, or a brandy snifter for like a barley wine or something like that. But yeah, this is it's a very good beer. I might actually have to drink another beer on the side while I'm drinking this, because when I'm on the show, I tend to like to. I have too many when I'm on the show. I get excited talking nonsense, so I'm going to supplement this with just a plain old beer
I
on the
love the
side.
phrase,
Yeah,
I might have to, as if you're compelling yourself that you need to do it.
I'm talking out loud. I'm working it through my mind. Yeah,
Well,
I'm being honest with myself. So
I was gonna say, while you were talking, I thought exactly how to describe my beer really quick, and it's take mango and marinate it in wheat beer, and that's what you get.
sounds good to me.
I'd try it, yeah. I was quite surprised that the what was it, the grapefruit pale ale from New York that I got as part of one of my boxes, my subscription. I thought I was going to hate it, and it was really, really good. Super tasty. It just kind of gave everything this sharp citrus flavour, rather than the Brewdog one, which is fucking disgusting.
What, you mean orange o'clock or whatever it's called?
Yeah, and
in that one, that's weird.
Yeah, what everyone Evan likes.
I think it's the orange one. Orange. Yeah, I can't remember. It's got a name.
Oh, it's got another pun name.
Yeah, it's Ultra Clockwork
Aren't you
Orange.
glad you didn't
No, it's
remember
really
the beer
Clockwork
name?
Orange. I can't
Yeah,
remember what the pun is.
seriously.
Right. So whilst Evan gets inebriated, I hope he doesn't drink that too quickly.
Here's my
Japanese
my
lager?
backup is a Kirin kind of autumn beer. This is 6%. Jesus Christ. Well, whatever. I'll try to drink this slowly as well.
Oh my.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear this episode.
Please
Just
drink responsibly.
Just get 2 straws, one in each glass. See what happens.
No, he just needs the beer hat, the beer hat right now. Just
Yeah.
each straw.
Right. So whilst Evan gets inebriated, are you, Mitch and Evan? Are you ready for the return of the Quizmaster?
Yes.
Yes. And
Okay.
best part, Keith, you now can see the score.
Oh no.
Oh wow,
We're doing that.
I knew you were in the lead, Mitch. I didn't realise it was by that much because we haven't done
Yeah.
the quiz in a while.
We haven't done one in like 6 months.
I'm not winning.
Right. So the quiz this week is on video game lawsuits.
Fuck. I already lost, but
Mitch,
let's do
because you're in the lead, would you like to go first or second?
Now how is this working? Because Dan is usually on Evan's team. So what's Dan in this?
He's
just-
independent
yeah.
observer.
Just
Yeah,
spectator.
that's fine. I'm happy to be that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What was your question?
So I will ask the questions alternately.
Oh, sorry. For audio listeners, though, do you want to read the score?
Oh, so yes, it's Mitch and Team Mixit at 14, and Team Devon, which should be Evan first and Ivand probably, but Team Devon, because it sounds better, is on 9 points.
Okay.
So I have 8 questions which I will ask alternately. Mitch, would you like to go first or second?
How about we flip a coin?
I have no coins near me.
Evan, do you have a coin on you? Or do you have a cap?
Um,
A beer cap?
yeah.
Or I'll just decide.
Or,
Evan, you're going
or
first.
we can flip the baby.
I got it. Monkey side up.
Okay,
Mitch,
I call
which
I call
you want?
monkey. I call monkey.
Okay, heads. Now, do I flip it on my
Yeah,
hand or
yeah,
as
yeah,
is?
Yeah. Flip.
Flip it.
Yeah.
All right, it is down.
Oh,
So that would be
you
me
choose.
anyways.
You
But
choose
we
if
just
you wanna-
wasted a lot of time.
Evan, do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay.
I'm not going to be good at this. So.
I'm not either. This is gonna be bad.
So, Mitch, first question for you. Which company was sued because of unlicensed use of Unreal Engine, resulting in a total recall and destruction of all copies of the game? Who were the developer and what was the game?
Jesus Christ! Can you give me like a timeline of like decade this was around?
This would have been about 10 years ago, which is
Older.
probably about the same length of time it took to develop the game, because it was in development hell for ages.
Someone spoke about this on a podcast
I
within
know.
the past.
I'm trying to think of who it
month.
was. I don't know.
Someone brought it up.
This is gonna be bad. I have no idea.
Right, the game was
not a
Too
goofy-
Human,
Oh.
and for half a point, do you want a developer? Can you name the developer?
Oh shoot. Oh. I feel horrible. I know this. Oh, I just pulled out my headphones. Hold on. I can't hear anything. I need to put my headphones in.
Oh, this guy's buying time. Got something up on one of his screens.
Go ahead. I have
This
no
guy
idea.
is fucking cheating on that
I
right
can't think of-
screen.
I can't think of it
I
right
can
now.
see it now.
Evan, do you know who the developer of Too Human was?
No, THQ.
Dan, do you
yeah.
want to chime in? It was Silicon Knights.
That's what it was. I remember.
Right here. That was the next thing I was
play.
going
Now,
to say.
now note this. I did not know. So I played Too Human when I was a kid, for like I think it was the 360 version, the one that actually came out eventually, or it was Xbox. No, it's 360. See, I do talk about Xbox on this show. You haters.
Just everything past 360.
So I played the 360 version the 360 game, and I was like, oh, this ain't half bad. It's pretty good. I rented it for like 3 nights at a family video or something. And then I learned like 4 years later of how this was in development hell, and this game was ridiculed beyond belief, and it was utter garbage. And I was like, it played pretty good though.
Yeah, I've never played it, and now no one can play it.
Well, the combat system was interesting. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. The combat system was interesting because you did the combat through the right stick. So similar to like a twin stick shooter, you did the combat with your swords with your stick, the right stick, which actually was kind of fun because it made you hop between enemies when you were doing the slashing. But it was very much like a hack and slash, because there really wasn't any extra abilities to really put on top of it to like give it that, you know, evolution and that complexity in its combat system.
Kind of high science fiction, Viking mythology inspired, and it could have been so great and then just ended up being garbage. And then they stole or used the Unreal Engine without license. So Evan, your first question. For which reason was Gearbox successfully sued in the UK and Europe over Aliens Colonial Marines?
Was it the initial marketing for the game? Basically, the assets and the quality of the trailers were nowhere near what the actual game was at release, at launch.
I'll give it to you, but how would you be able to say that more succinctly?
Oh, God.
Oh, I can.
Graphical quality.
Okay, Mitch, do you want to say it?
Advertising quality and demos did not equal what the final product ended up being.
Yes, so even more simply, false advertising.
Yes.
Oh, false. What happened with The Witcher 3? Weren't people up in arms about that, looking at old shots of the... Anyways.
It was one trailer, and there was like nice high-res grass, and I think they showed the demo of the game, and then there wasn't as pretty of grass. It was like less of it.
Right.
Okay, next question for
me.
Mitch.
Get like half a point for that?
Yeah, how many points?
So that's 2 points for Evan. 2 points for Evan, because he got it, but he just didn't use the exact term. But I knew what he meant.
2 points.
So,
right, okay.
Next question for Mitch. Which pair of twins settled out of court over backdated royalties and damages for their game called In Action being pulled and cancelled by Acclaim? So this was in the early 2000s, and there's a famous pair of twins. They were all over TV and lunchboxes, and I can give you a hint as well.
I know what this is.
Yeah, give me some.
They're related to an Avenger.
Oh, that's an easy one. Come on.
Chris and Liam Hemsworth?
You might have been too young for this, Mitch, just thinking about it.
It's not Chris and Liam. Yeah. Yeah, Chris and Liam Hemsworth.
Do you want to have another guess?
Sorry, are you asking what brother? I don't even know what the question is.
It was a pair of twins settled out of court for backdated royalties and damages in their suit against Acclaim when their game In Action was cancelled. And they're related to an Avenger.
It was a pair of twins who made the game?
No. Acclaim were making the game, then the game got cancelled, so they sued Acclaim.
And they have the same names?
And they were twins, and one of them
two
is
comic
an
Avengers?
Avengers.
And they're related to an Avenger, and Dan really wants to say who this is.
Who has a twin on the Avengers?
No, they are twins, and they are related to an Avenger.
They're twins?
Right.
I have no idea. Who is...
Okay, Dan. And you're muted.
You're muted, Dan.
Is it all that?
Dan,
all of
you're
that?
muted.
Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Yes.
Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me.
The Olsen twins.
Oh,
they
is...
had a game.
Wait,
Is that
that's
their
not
little
their
sister?
is
sister?
Scarlet Witch?
It's Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet
Yeah,
Witch is their sister.
Elizabeth Olsen is their.
Yeah, she's their little sister.
No, they totally.
Yeah, I
they
did
totally
not know
look
that.
A lookalike. No
I
shit.
totally didn't even think
Okay.
about that. Holy crap!
I did not know that either.
Mind blown today.
but It makes sense.
Right.
Can I give Evan that point?
Alright.
No.
Damn. Sorry, Evan. Sorry.
Damn it. That's okay.
Next question for Evan.
Thank you.
Nintendo won a legal battle in 1982 about IP rights for Donkey Kong, with an award of $1.8 million to cover their legal costs. But who was the plaintiff saying Donkey Kong infringed on their IP?
Plaintiff was well, it was King Kong.
No, King Kong wasn't the plaintiff. King Kong is a fictional character.
No, I'm just trying to think. The King Kong was first a movie. Whatever the studio was it was Universal? Was it Paramount? Universal.
It was Universal Studios.
Damn it!
2 points to Evan.
Damn.
I just remembered the King
Devin!
Kong ride at USJ or
So,
Universal Studios, Florida.
interesting fact about this: Universal also sued in the same year RKO Studios, who produced the original King Kong movie in 1933, for saying they infringed on their IP rights for King Kong, even though RKO had sold the rights already.
Oh Jesus.
So, whoever were the lawyers at Universal Studios, they were getting pretty litigious. Right.
Yeah.
Mitch, your next question. Nintendo tried to stop rentals of their games by suing which major company in the US? And for a bonus point, can you say what this company was doing that led to an out-of-court settlement?
Blockbuster.
Yes, it was Blockbuster.
Sorry, what was
Oh,
the
I missed
follow-up
that.
question?
Wow, nice.
So for an extra point, can you say what the company was doing that led to them settling out of court? If they continued to do this, they would have lost the suit, and they agreed to stop doing what they were doing.
Wait. So, whoa.
Basically,
Restate
they
that.
agreed
It's a
out
little
of court.
confusing. That's a little
They
confusing.
agreed out of court because they stopped doing something that caused them to have the lawsuit put against them. So what was that thing they were doing?
Were they doing no late free returns?
No, think more along the lines of something related to the Nintendo product that they were renting out. So you're right with Blockbuster, so you got the points, but this is for an additional one.
What they were doing to Nintendo specifically? I have no idea.
Okay, they were photocopying the game manuals and then sending them out with the rentals.
Oh, why was
Oh,
that
wow.
an issue?
I did not know that.
It infringed on Nintendo's
Intellectual property?
yeah, because you can't resell
You
or
can't okay.
re-release a product that they had copyright over. So that 2 points to Mitch. Evan, Sega was sued for damages over the development of the Dreamcast by 3DFX Interactive. Why did they sue Sega and NEC, who are also named on the suit?
I know nothing about the Dreamcast. I don't know. Were they? It doesn't make any sense. Let's say that they're something about a chip in the system.
Do you know what? I'm going to give it to you because it was the chipset that they used.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right.
Yes, so
That's crazy. How would you put that in there knowing like you didn't have? That's like Microsoft putting Blu-ray players in their Xboxes without Sony
Sony's
giving the
permission.
okay. That's insane.
Without
Yeah.
paying that royalty, man, paying them that money that they owe them.
So what happened was Sega twin-tracked the development of the Dreamcast, and they had
Yeah.
a contract with both NEC and 3DFX to produce the graphic chips that was going to go into the Dreamcast. And when it launched, it had the NEC chips in, not the 3DFX ones. So 3DFX sued, saying, we had a contract for you to produce this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow! They just totally blindsided them. That's what Nintendo did to Sony during one of the famous E3s. Wow.
Right.
All right,
Mitch, your last question. Now pay attention. Take-Two Interactive have had a number of lawsuits filed against them based on Rockstar's IP. Which former attorney was preemptively sued by Take-Two in 2007 prior to the launch of GTA 4 to prevent him from launching more lawsuits against the company?
Going out of a whim on this one. I have no freaking clue. So I'm going to say Rudy Giuliani.
This is the same person who also tried to get rap music banned from the radio. He did launch his he did. He's shut up now and gone away.
I'm too old to know who that is, so that doesn't help me. So I'm just gonna...
What's his name? Jack Thompson?
It is Jack Thompson.
I don't even know who that is.
He was
famous. He's holding the GTA 4 by his head. Yeah, he was like
BMT.
He had a hard on for those games.
Yeah, he sued Take-Two multiple times between 2003 and 2007, and they ended up settling out of court so that he'd stop suing them every year a game came out.
It's just go away.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right, Evan, your last question. Take-Two Interactive were back in court in 2016, this time with 2K Games over IP and copyright infraction. What was the lawsuit based on?
2016? 2016. The lawsuit was based on copyright infringement.
I just said that.
I know. I thought you just said yes.
So, what I'll give for half a point.
Wait, you
I'll
can't give a
hint.
half a point because I can't. I mean, I guess you can. Never mind. I can type a half a point.
Well, it would just be 1 point because I'm giving 2 points out.
Okay.
So, what 2K Games major sports franchises comes out? It was based on one of their major sports franchises.
2K. What do they still have? Do they have NBA? NBA 2K?
Nope.
So why would someone sue over IP and copyright infraction about a major sports franchise?
I have no idea. I'll just.
Right, you're
don't
on the
have
right
an
lines
answer.
with NBA
What happened?
2K.
What was it? Oh, it was NBA 2K. Okay, sorry. I thought it was Madden that they had the rights, so they no longer can make NFL 2K.
No, that was way before that.
Was that 06?
They lost the rights.
That was 2K5, which was an amazing game, by the way. That's the last American football game that I think I owned was ESPN 2K5. But anyways,
Right. So,
did they have
do you wanna have a
college
guess?
players featured in it?
I don't know if it's
No,
it was NBA 2K.
I'm talking about the answer. They had college players featured in the NBA game.
no, it wasn't. It was the NBA players' tattoos being represented.
Oh
wow.
Yep, I remember that story.
So a tattoo parlor tried to sue over IP and copyright infraction because the players' tattoos were shown in the game.
Did they win?
No, the case got thrown out.
Damn.
Because the judge ruled that showing tattoos is covered by fair use.
Oh, there you go.
Because you can't copyright a tattoo. Otherwise, if anyone went out and someone took a photograph of it,
True.
you'd have to pay rights.
True.
And the whole point about having a tattoo
So you can
is
show it off.
It's
showing off your art. They paid for the art to be shown off.
exactly, and that's what the judge ruled. So the scores have closed up quite considerably, with Mitch now in the lead by just 1 point on 16 points to 15.
Yeah, Evan got a couple extra points.
Woo, Devon!
And Evan's just turned his mic off, showed us his plums, and then that's not a euphemism, and then run away. You're muted.
Sorry, they're figs actually. Okay. I'm okay. I don't know what happened. All right, 1 point at least. At least it'll be interesting. I believe last time between me and Matt, it came down to the final quiz. So keep it interesting, regardless of who wins.
I mean, we are in the final fourth of the year.
All right, we'll just have to do more quizzes then, I guess.
We literally skipped the mid. I think our last quiz was
the whole of the
February.
summer. There was a summer hiatus.
Yeah, there's a summer hiatus of no quizzes.
Yeah, summer vacation, right? There you go.
Right, so let's move on to today's topic, which was put forward by Evan, of games we've given a second chance. Evan just looked quizzically at the screen like, did I? I came up with a topic.
I thought it was just the quiz today, so I wasn't ready for this, so now I gotta think of one.
Evan's still choking, and he's also trying to prepare his dinner at the same time.
Is that
I feel like that should just be the episode. It's Evan preparing his dinner.
Well, that's a totally different stream, isn't it? Maybe we could do a side project of Evan making food.
He actually has the perfect angle in his kitchen, and I got the perfect music to go with it. And I know his wife would be super entertaining because she'd be like, "I want to vacuum," and then you'd be like, "No."
So Evan could be the next Jamie Oliver.
Or actually what we could do is Evan could be on mute the entire time and we will just commentate as he cooks. And we would just pretend to be the wife and husband and put our own dialogue within what they're trying to explain to each other. Like, did you see this? Does this look rotten to you? I think it looks fine. Let's just eat it anyway.
Are you choking on my plums again?
Okay, here. This is already going off the rails. Does anyone know what this is?
A potato?
I can't see it properly.
It kind of looks like a potato. It's a lotus root, which is actually quite delicious.
I don't even know what a lotus root
saute
is.
it.
Right? No, that's not.
You can.
No, we don't.
You can coach them.
She
as
just
well.
told him it's not a lotus. It's not a lotus root.
No. She was surprised that we don't normally have this, at least in the States.
I mean,
well, you can.
I've
never seen a lotus root before.
I've only ever seen it in specialty markets.
Who eats that? I'm just kidding.
It's
messing.
It's really good.
That's a hell of a lot of packaging. I hope most of the film isn't going to be recyclable, and if that's
so much for that. I'm trying to be protective of the landfills, bro.
Hey, I mean, there's a difference between wrapping something in plastic and throwing away my vacuum. Let's move on to video games. I think
for the amount of plastic you're using on that lotus root, I bet that's just as much as the vacuum, bro.
Exactly, actually, the exact same amount.
Okay, move the fuck on.
What did you do?
Evan, introduce your own goddamn topic.
Stay on topic.
Games we've gave a second chance is what we're talking about today. I'm so unprepared. Hey, I'm on the podcast, by the way. I don't know if you know this. There's a microphone here. There's a camera. You threw it away. Can someone introduce this topic, please? I apologize. Just very simply, there's no real setup to it. Games we gave a second chance. The first time we played it, for whatever reason, for whatever
reason we stopped, or part way through, or picked up and then put down because Game Pass is too amazing. So there's so many games on there you can't possibly play through them all. Right, I'll start. And a game I gave a second chance to, and the third installment will never see life in my household, was it Rise of the Tomb Raider? No, there was Tomb Raider. What was the second one?
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So I played it. I got a bit, this is okay, and then put it down for a bit. Came back and finished it and thought, I never want to play this gameplay loop again.
Oh, that's so sad. That was one of my favorites.
I could not care about the story, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider came out, and I just thought I cannot spend another what would it be 15 hours, 12 to 15 hours playing through that, because it's just the same game over again.
Yeah, sorry, I'll give it to you. The story's not great, but the gameplay loop I say is excellent, because what I loved about it. I know, bring it back to me, right? That's exactly what I do.
Yeah,
that's why
Mitch's favorite topic.
Mitch's favorite topic. What I liked about it though is it was like semi-open world, because it's like hubs, little open world hubs. And so for someone that is sick of just being thrown in this giant open world, and you have like a list of chores and homework to do that's like 150,000 tasks. In the Tomb Raider games, you kind of just went to like each little sub, like mini open world, and it's less of a list, and so it's less daunting, and you actually feel like you can complete everything and move forward. And then you obviously you it's like it's a Metroid in regards to unlocking, getting new tools, and you can come back and unlock new areas. But in the aspect of just like, it's not as overwhelming as what I really liked about it. It's like, it's just,
I think if the story was better, I probably would have enjoyed it more. But I just got a bit burnt out on Lara Croft Murder Simulator.
Yeah,
Collectathon.
The first game story is great. I don't know what they were doing with the second and the third game story, because it's pretty bad.
Particularly the ending of the second one. I just thought, this is awful.
Right.
I literally do not care what happens.
I know they like make you want to care about the stepmother, and you're like, I don't even know you, lady. I could care less if you have cancer.
Oh, that's harsh.
You can die of cancer, lady.
But yeah, it was that just killed it for me, and I've got absolutely no interest in seeing what happens and entering into another game of Lara Croft Murder Simulator. Mm-hmm. Oh, / linguist. I don't care that she can learn ancient Patagonian or whatever it is by rubbing tombstones. No, sorry, burnt out on that.
It's in Braille. That's what it is. That's a little harsh. I'm sorry.
Mitch is on one today. He's giving all the jibes.
How many people can I offend in one episode?
Get some mango in me, man, and we gotta go.
Get those viewing numbers down. Let's get those viewing numbers down.
Well,
I mean, we only had 2, so yeah, we had 2, and I lost them.
Right, Dan, do you have a game that you gave a second chance to?
Yeah, but all my second chance games I thought were shit the second time I played them. So does that count?
Well,
I went back to give it a second go, and it was still as bad as the first time.
Well, you didn't have to actually like beat it the second time though. Like some of these you can like
it can be whatever you want it to mean.
I played
okay, so I'll be honest. So number one is The Witcher 3. So I was harsh about it. Thought I probably should give it a second chance. Turned it back on again, and then turned it off again. So that game's ticked off. What a waste of time. I supposedly there's this amazing other stuff to it, but I just don't see it. It's janky mess. On PlayStation anyway. I apologize for all you PC players that say it's the best thing that God's ever given you, but I don't have a good enough PC to run it. So on my platform of PlayStation, it didn't run well, and I didn't enjoy the janky gameplay. Maybe the story was fantastic, but that's why there is books to read, and now TV shows to watch. So I've get my Witcher fix without playing that janky mess. And I think CD Projekt X proved they only make janky shit from their least recent release. But that's a completely different story. And then my second game.
Oh, I was just gonna piggyback on yours and just say I wanna breathe in this love fest of like not liking The Witcher 3 right now, because I'm so with you. And I actually stopped playing that game 3 times, and then I finally said, okay, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna power through this, and I did, and it was crap. And I was one person, and I will say this for the record, on Game Face, when I was on Game Face, I warned people, and I got talked back to, like, they were like, Mitch, you might be wrong there. And guess who was right?
Oh, about Cyberpunk. Yeah.
I think I was right. Okay.
Yeah, you're giving CD Projekt too much credit. And then my other game. Oh God, I had it and I've now forgotten what it was. So obviously, it wasn't that memorable. But oh God. Oh no! This is a positive one, actually. Sorry. Yes. It's going to be a game as a service. It's going to be Apex Legends. I jumped on at day one. I left it, and I've come back, and I'm having a great time with it. Every time I jump on, I just love the different characters doing different things. There's always something different to do. The maps are always changing. It keeps it fresh. You're not playing one dull map every single time, jumping out the same plane from the same angle. Or, if you know what I mean, the maps are kind of changing because I've got more maps than the other game I'm referring to that Keith knows. And
well, the grey and brown.
The grey and brown game, yeah.
Grey
and brown monstrosity. The Warzone that we all uninstalled a few weeks ago to jump in on the Apex Legend loving, even to the point where we got Liam to play with us, which I never thought would ever happen. So there we go. Hey, go on. That's me done there.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention Apex Legends because I did stop playing it when I got my Xbox and thought, do I actually need to play it anymore? And so, yeah, I'll just install it and see what the updates are. Well, one thing that did annoy me is they don't have cross progression. So whilst Warzone is a grey and brown monstrosity, everything that I was playing on PlayStation moved over when I installed it on Xbox. Whereas the characters who I'd unlocked on PlayStation, I have to unlock again. But Respawn have said that they're looking at how they can better deliver cross progression in Apex Legends. So I'm holding off from using the in-game currency that I've earned from unlocking more characters because I'm hoping at some point in future the ones who I'd unlocked on PlayStation I'll be able to unlock on Xbox.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for as well, Keith. Like, when I unlock new characters on the new one, I'm not unlocking the ones I had on PlayStation just in case.
But yes, I have had a few moments of frustration with Apex Legends where, more so than Warzone, if you're playing with randoms, people are AFK. So what I've started doing is, if I think someone is away from their keyboard, I land really close to the edge of the map or a hazard, and then if they are, I will punch or kick them into the hazard. And I'm going to start recording myself doing that and posting it on our Instagram page. Mitch, do you have a game that you've given a second chance to?
I got two for you since we're doing the good and bad. What do you want first? You want good or bad?
Good.
Good. Bloodborne. So I was like, okay, I'll give this Bloodborne thing a shot. Never tried a Souls game. I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. Played it the first time, and Bloodborne specifically is one that kind of just throws you into the wolves. Literally, there is a giant wolf that is meant to kill you. And here I'm like, I don't know how to kill this thing. This thing's stupid. And then I found the weapon, and then I think I was like getting partway through, and I just was getting frustrated because I wasn't really having a feel for the combat and how it flowed. And so I like put it down. I played some other stuff, and I think I came back to it about like 7 to 8 months later, and it just clicked. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a real try. Like what's that expression? I'm gonna give it the college try.
An old college try.
Yeah, an old college try. And yeah, for some reason it just clicked for me. And then all of a sudden, like, the flow of the combat made sense. I was still really frustrated, and actually my roommates would do the throw controller counter. How many times will Mitch throw his controller in frustration? Because in the game, it's more that what makes the game so frustrating for me specifically, and people can disagree obviously with my opinion, but my opinion with that game is that when you die, 90% of the time it's your fault. You were either too ambitious, you weren't patient, you weren't like understanding the flow of the combat system and how it works with the specific boss battle. Like, all those kinds of things just weren't working, and that's your fault. And so I would get mad because especially when I get near, like, when an enemy is about to, like, lose all its life, especially a boss battle, then I would get too impatient. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go slash him up, and then all of a sudden he's like, dead.
Yeah, one hit kill.
Yeah, one hit kill, and then you're like, God, son of a bitch, why did I not have patience? So, yeah, I ended up, like, hammering hard, like, on that game. I played that game only for, like, 3 months because I was just, like, addicted like no other to that game. So that was my good one. My bad one, actually, I just tried to play it now because it was on Game Pass, just to be like, oh, I never finished it. Why don't I go back and play it? Because I don't have my PS3 with me right now, and I don't, because I still have the copy, which is a game that everybody loves that we talked about on Discord. Can anybody guess what game that was we talked about on Discord just recently?
80s?
No, this is bad. This is
bad,
bad, Evan.
Game,
This is bad, Evan.
Sorry.
Bad.
Games you gave a second chance that were bad. Arkham Knight?
What? Arkham Knight was great.
No, it wasn't. It was awful, but...
Terrible game.
Games I haven't finished because they're so bad. Yeah.
Sorry. In your mind, it may be a bad game, but in the standards of video games, it's still a good game.
Mitch, just tell us
It's
the
just
game.
not a
We're not
great
gonna
game.
guess.
Final Fantasy 13.
Okay.
Oh, right.
So
Okay.
I've played probably like 7 hours of Final Fantasy 13 in the past. I probably actually have tried that game more than once. I've probably tried that game like 3 times. The issue that comes into play is I love the combat system. The combat system is really fun and creative and different, and I think it works with the whole now I forgot what they call it, but it's like rotational, like you're changing the specific title of how everyone defines their roles, and you switch between all those systems in real time while you're battling, and it's great because then you go to like
it's the paradigm system.
Thank you, the paradigm system. I think it's
actually Mitch, I heard a YouTuber say whatever. They had a very good analogy to the type of system it is and how it relates to like turn-based battle. He said the difference in it's the difference between playing in a game versus coaching a game, because in that game you don't actually specifically control anyone. You're more coaching what they're doing, and they kind of do it themselves.
Yep.
And I thought that was a simplistic way to explain how the system is different from normal, like kind of turn-based battle
for sure,
or active time battle.
And it's super fun, but the story's so garbage. It's so bad. And I literally, right before we were doing this podcast, was gonna gonna start all over, and I couldn't even get through like the main title screen because I just watched all these cutscenes, and I was like, oh, I forgot all these cutscenes are hot garbage. Do I want to listen to all this hot garbage and try to? Because here's the other thing, the last point about it is the combat system's great. The thing is, it takes forever to like get it to where the combat system is great. It took me like now I never finished the game, but I've read many reviews, and people are still learning things. 25 hours into the game, they're still introducing new elements to the combat system, which is great because it keeps evolving the system. But sometimes it felt like the system was never really flowed the way it should, like,
or finished.
Not necessarily finished, but it's more like you never get that taste of the full combat of how smooth it can be. So it's not you don't get that opening appetizer. So where you're like, oh my god, I can't wait for the main course. It's more like they just give you, like, I don't know, like breath mints and say, get ready. It's just like not this embouchure that's like ready to like, I don't know. That's not.
My breath is already fresh. I don't need any more mints.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the same way that it's the philosophy of the game where everyone makes fun of that game is just a hallway going forward, and it is for like 13 hours until you get to the main planet and pulse, and it opens up, and the combat is similar in that way where they feed you little bits of it, and it needed to come quicker. Like open this game up in the first 3 or 4 hours, and they doubled or tripled that time before it actually got that.
But the issue with the story never helped it doing
I
that.
agree. No, it's not a fun story to go through. I think we did a podcast about this, or maybe it was on Beerumvirate or Podcast Reload, but the actual overarching story of Final Fantasy 13 is really, really interesting. It is just told. poorly. It is horribly told. It is so confusing.
It's red. It's basically you have
the
to
main
read
characters are tropey, like anime bad. Yeah, Snow is a terrible character. Hope is annoying. Yeah,
Lightning's cool.
it's not a good game.
Unfortunately, she gets underutilized.
Kind of. I mean, she like barely has a character, but I know a lot of people do.
Not necessarily
do
Lightning
like
as
her.
a character, but Lightning as like the look and like how badass she is.
Yeah.
Like I think they captured that perfectly. They just really didn't capture the rest. Evan, what's yours?
No,
it's your topic.
Yes.
Now that you're back from cooking with Mama.
Yeah. Did I
love
did
you
mute my
cooking
mic.
game. I loved Cooking Mama. It was a great game.
Is that a game you gave a second chance to?
I think I just enjoyed it from the off, to be fair.
I did mute my mic, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, thank God. All right. Yeah. So.
Well, you did
let's
come
see.
back with a smile on your face, so
Yeah,
I'm glad you
everything's
you
all right.
muted your mic because I didn't really want to know what was going on.
I'm actually pretty good at turning things around. I've gotten really good at it. It's taken me a lot of mistakes to get here, but I mean that was a pretty solid 10 minutes of but now we're all in a good place. All right, so games, very professional here. Games we gave a second chance to.
We've been picking.
I'll go for a bad one.
Yeah, I was gonna say we pick a good one and a bad one. If you haven't, I don't know if you've been.
Okay,
listening.
perfect. Games we've given a second, third, and fourth, and fifth, maybe even a sixth chance to. For me, is Owlboy. Is anyone here on the panel familiar with Owlboy?
I'm familiar with it. I've never played it.
I've never played it. Yeah.
I like that he calls us a panel.
We are a panel.
Yeah.
What was it? We're
Talking
here
Heads
to,
pundit.
We are a panel of
hear him
experts.
speak.
So Owlboy is this kind of game that was under, I don't know if you want to say, legendary or notorious development cycle. I think it took them 10 years to make the game. And you can totally see it too, because it is one of the most beautiful
Pixel
art games that I've ever seen, and that's in everything. That's in the kind of it's in the backgrounds, it's in the characters, it's in how many animations and frames of animations are in from the smallest enemy to the main character. It looks great. You see a trailer for this game, and if you have any affinity for that style of game, like side-scrolling, kind of slightly Metroidvania pixel game from circa 1994, that's the game for you. And I remember Matt on GameFace, he brought it up at one of the end of the year Game of the Year awards. I don't know what he gave it, but he seemed to enjoy it. I mean, this is a lesson in beautiful pixel art can only go so far for me. And there was just something about the gameplay of this game. I don't necessarily know what it is. It was in how confusing the controls were, to where you tap you jump and then you have to tap the button to fly or hover in the air, and basically Owlboy can't do anything. So you actually carry characters, and there's 3 or 4 characters eventually that you can flip through, and they each have different specialties. So like, oh, there's a bunch of vines in front of you. Flip to the character that you're holding that has the flamethrower, and they just like disappear and reappear in your hands. It doesn't make sense, but it's fine. And then you use the flamethrower to get through. There was something about the controls. I'm just like, this is it. Have you ever played a game that you like a lot, but the control scheme is so confusing? Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2. There you go. You just no matter how many hours you put into the game, you can never get used to the control. You keep accidentally pressing L2 instead of R2. Instead of putting your hands up, you shoot the sheriff, and then you go to jail and lose all your fucking money. Like, Owlboy is kind of this game where I just never really liked the controls. They weren't quick, pixel perfect. There's too many animations in between picking stuff up or like digging through a chest, because they spent so much time on this stuff, and I appreciate it in that regard. But it doesn't translate well into just having fun. And one game that I always bring up in the past is, you know how like in all the old school Nintendo games, if you press down, there was no frame in between the sprite, the standing sprite, and the kneeling sprite, right? The second you press down, you kneeled. So if a bullet's coming at you, you press down, you're going to miss it. But in, I believe it was LJN, which is, Angry Video Game Nerd has documented games very well. Yes, synonymous for crap, licensed crap. The Wolverine game they released, the animations are actually quite impressive, but they gave him like 3 or 4 extra frames between the standing sprite and the kneeling sprite. So when the bullet came at you, you would get hit because when you're ducking, it's got that extra 0.5 seconds that it takes to kneel, and it's just like I get it, it looks great, but it's totally unnecessary. The story's okay, but there was just this one is actually a bit hard to quantify. But
well, it seems like it because you've been babbling for a little while and we totally lost Dan.
Yeah,
because he's just taken a phone call instead of listening to you.
That's okay. I have B-roll of Owlboy playing right now, so people can see what the game looks like.
And yeah, Dan had his phone down. He didn't get a call from someone. He called someone. He did the old like down here. Oh, hey, excuse me for a moment. Fucking talking about Owlboy, but yeah, it was just one of those things that it took me. I eventually beat the game, but I did not have a great time, and I think even IGN might have given it a 10. I don't get it. I understand how you could be wowed by the pixel art, but the gameplay was lacking severely, in my opinion.
So what about a positive one? Finish us up on a positive note.
All right, positive note. So I think I purchased Persona 5 in 2016-ish when it first came out, and I believe the English version of that ended up coming out like 6 months later, maybe February or March. And I think part of me bought it so that I could talk about it on Podcast Reload, like, this is how I talked in circa 2016. This is my voice. I speak Japanese. I can play a Japanese RPG. You guys don't get to play this for 6 more months. So I played a bit of this game, and I ended up just putting it down, and I never picked it back up again. I probably got about 3 or 4 hours in.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Partly because
we
know
talked about that because you had it before me, and I was waiting 3 more months, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I haven't played that in a while, actually." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it got to the point where Liam completed the Western release before you completed the Japanese release that you'd bought 3 months before.
He got the platinum trophy in it, before I even touched it for more than 6 hours. How many years later? 5 years later or something crazy. So I held off on it. One, because it's a 100-hour game, and I guess I just wasn't in the mood to invest in that. And there was plenty of stuff coming out. I believe I had just purchased my PlayStation 4 Pro, or it was the year afterwards, so I had a giant backlog, and I went for the easy stuff. I went for the Horizons and the God of Wars, and I just pushed Persona 5 to the side. And then there was rumblings about the quality of life, better updated version of Persona 4 in Persona 5 Royale. They did the same thing with Persona 4 with Golden for the PS Vita. And so at that point, it's like, well, I don't want to play the old version. I'll just wait for the next version. So I just held off on it. And then, actually, this is pretty much, speaking of Liam, this is pretty much him because I believe he played it last year in 2020, around the summer. And he got the Platinum Trophy, and he was just talking it up. He's like, no, this is a really fucking solid game. And then that kind of got me to all right, I need to get back to this. It's ridiculous. It's been 5 years since I first played the game, so I bought Persona 5 Royale, and once I started that, I couldn't stop. And I think the end of January of this year, I finished it, 125 hours and a platinum trophy later. And yeah, I'm glad that I gave it a second chance. But
I can't believe you platinumed it, of all things.
I'm glad I skipped the Owlboy conversation. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
that was much more interesting.
You missed the pre-B-roll.
It is a beautiful game, but yeah, Persona 5 was that game for me, and it's great. It's going to be on my game of the year discussion for Pixel Pints for sure.
Okay, has anyone else got any other games that we've given a second chance to?
I wanted to mention. I know I should have jumped in at the time when Mitch was talking about it, but Bloodborne. Was it Bloodborne? Yeah. Basically, when I got my PlayStation 5, I thought I'd give it a second chance because it was in the game libraries of whatever you got. But I also had it obviously from PlayStation Plus. But I gave it a second chance, and Liam talked me through the beginning because he at that point we had just got them, so we were sharing each other's screen. I think he was playing Spider-Man, and I was having a go at that or whatever, or something like that. So I said, "Oh," so he gave me a bit of guidance. So I got through the Wolfman part, and then played for about 2 hours. I didn't get very far, and I could see.
Did you beat Gascoigne?
No, I didn't even get that
Okay.
far. Come on, don't be silly. No, but what I realised was these games aren't for me, and I want to transition into that with how actually much I'm enjoying Hades, because even though I'm dying a lot, every single run, every time I do it, because I get something, I just feel rewarded for what I'm doing. But even if I only pick up a few gems, at least I felt like that hasn't wasted my time. Whereas this game where I died and went to the same place over and over again, I was like, oh, what's the point? Turned it off. So that's what I wanted to say. So
a game I need to give a second chance to, Man-Eater.
Oh, yes, you should. That is a good game. I'm enjoying that.
It's okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like it's okay, and I'm getting a bit bored of just having to eat, because you do need to eat a lot of fish and other things to get your shark leveled up. And
little turtles.
So I worked out I need to eat. I think it's another 400 turtles to get one of the higher level unlocks. And it's like, seriously?
Seems a bit much.
What it reminds me of, Man-Eater, it reminds me of a really solid PlayStation 2 B tier game.
Yeah.
You might have rented with your friends from Blockbuster or something.
Classic
for,
license
the
game.
weekend. You just pass the controller around, you kill some humans. You might not beat it, but you've had a good few hours with it. Yeah, good to give it back to the game store type of game. That's what it kind of reminded me of. It was more like that kind of oh yeah, what happened to these kind of games?
Yeah, it's definitely got its charm
games.
and it's got potential, especially if they work a little more on it. The idea, because the idea is genius, it's just it needs a little more refinement in many areas.
And the camera is
the camera's really bad.
Annoying.
Yeah, the camera's bad.
Oh yeah, the camera's shocking. Actually,
but
that's why I think it's beat it.
Some little quality of life improvements, like a better camera, and I've maxed out the amount of resources that I get from eating things already, and I still need to eat masses and masses of stuff to get unlocks for the different shark upgrades. So it's a fun idea, but I need to give it a bit more of a second chance than I have. But I don't know how I felt about it when I stopped playing it. Leaves me with a sense of trepidation about going back and how much I might actually enjoy it.
Also, the zones are a bit drab. Like the zones that you go through, the different zones, I just find them a bit drab.
Yeah, they're not as creative as they could be. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're a little too cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mick Womble, would you classify this as a one of those in-between games between bigger releases where you can relax, or is it a bit too boring to be a relaxing game?
You kind of need to you need to choose what objectives you want to go on wisely, because just doing the same ones over and over to clear out an area can get really repetitive. But the thing that makes me want to go back to this is I want to get more trophies than OTAPs.
Well, how many trophies is OTAPs?
I don't know what level of game completion he's at. I think it was 60 something. It may have even been a bit more, but I could just compete with him without him knowing it, and just say, yes, I got more achievements than you did. So there is that. Evan, I'd say it wouldn't be a particularly troublesome platinum trophy, but it's just that
monotonous.
It's monotonous.
Oh, I do own it. I must have.
It's PlayStation. It was a PlayStation Plus game.
I put it in my library. Yeah, it was a PS5 game. Yeah.
PS5, the thing you don't own.
I played it on PlayStation 5, and I put it on my library, and I jump in. I kind of play it for 10-minute bursts, Like jump in, kill some humans, go play something else.
It reminds me of
Like,
GTA in that aspect, where it's like, yeah, play a couple missions, I'm good.
Yeah, because I do agree with Keith. It is quite. I enjoyed it when I first launched it up. I was like, "This is cool." And then some of the times I like died against enemies because of shoddy camera angles. Because I was like caught into a corner, kind of pissed me off. Now thinking about it in more detail, but I did enjoy. There's nothing better than crawling onto a beach and just ripping someone's limbs to pieces. That was quite fun. And pulling them back in the sea. That's always gonna give me like a few minutes of enjoyment. I'm glad I didn't pay for the game. I'm glad I got it for free, but what I have I've enjoyed. But yeah, will I complete it? Well, who knows?
It's also one of those things too. You kind of think like, what were they thinking? Like the Arkham Knight 200 Riddler trophies. I'm like, couldn't it just be 100? So when you're talking about having to eat 400 turtles, I'm like, just have that. Just make it 100 or 200. Why does it have to be 4?
Then there'd be
like,
nothing to do.
Do you really think people are gonna play this game for that long? Just lower that number. Come on.
I'm only in the second. I'm only in the second area that's unlocked, so I can understand if there's more areas.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, if you work out how many things you actually have to eat to be able to upgrade your abilities, you can kind of think, how dull is this going to be? Just swimming around, clicking R2 over and over again to eat stuff.
Yeah, eventually it doesn't come up with enough inventive ways to do something simple as eating people.
Yeah.
Like it's
just
not
keep clicking R2.
It's not like it comes up with like a special where you can like eat the ship or something, where it's like mega mouth and just and you know like but
yeah.
No. Yeah.
Right, any final thoughts from anyone?
I do love jumping on the bow of a ship though and like it snapping in half. Because you've weighed it, that's really fun. While you're like shredding on the deck, just eating people, and they're trying to shoot you with.
Sounds like fun, yeah.
It's just stupid. As I said, it's like a PlayStation 2 beer tier game that like is a bit of fun, but like it's monotonous, and after about 10-15 minutes, it's probably time to play something else.
You know a way to wrap it up in regards to that game? What it reminds me of? Wolverine the video game had one great mechanic in it, which was the leaping stabs. And in this game, it's eating people, but it gets old.
It does.
And on that note...
Yeah.
Well, you can totally cheese the final boss in the Wolverine game by doing that leaping stab over and over again.
Yeah, you can.
That's it.
Is that Wolverine game that's really violent?
Yes.
Yep.
The one that
I've heard.
The one
that's
been critically acclaimed for actually being a good X-Men game.
Wow, how did we reference Wolverine twice in a single episode? That's got to be some sort of record. And we weren't even talking about X-Men or anything.